The Neolithic Revolution, also known as the Agricultural Revolution, marks a profound shift in human history. It began around 10,000 BCE and represents the transition from nomadic hunter-gatherer societies to settled agricultural communities. This transformation had monumental impacts on social structures, economies, and the environment. Development of agriculture. The development of agriculture was the cornerstone of the Neolithic Revolution. This period saw the domestication of plants, which allowed humans to produce food more reliably and efficiently than hunting and gathering. This change did not happen overnight but was a gradual process involving trial and error over thousands of years. Origins and spread. Agriculture likely began in the Fertile Crescent, a region in the Middle East that includes modern-day Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Israel, and Jordan. The Fertile Crescent's rich soils and favorable climate made it an ideal location for early farming. Archaeological evidence suggests that people began cultivating wild grains such as wheat and barley around 10,000 BCE. From the Fertile Crescent, agriculture spread to other parts of the world. In China, rice and millet were domesticated independently around 7,000 BCE. In the Americas, maize, corn, beans, and squash became staple crops. Similarly, Africa saw the domestication of sorghum and yams. Techniques and innovations. Early agriculturalists developed various techniques to increase crop yields. One of the earliest methods was slash and burn agriculture, where forests were cleared and the land was used for farming. Over time, more sophisticated methods such as irrigation and plowing were developed. Irrigation allowed farmers to bring water to their crops during dry periods, increasing agricultural productivity. The development of plows, initially pulled by humans and later by animals, made it easier to till the soil and prepare larger areas for planting. These innovations led to surplus food production, which supported larger populations and led to the growth of communities. Domestication of animals. Alongside plant cultivation, the domestication of animals played a crucial role in the Neolithic Revolution. The process of taming and breeding animals for human use began with the dog, which was likely domesticated from wolves around 15,000 BCE. This early partnership between humans and dogs may have been mutually beneficial, with dogs helping humans hunt and humans providing food and protection. Livestock and labor. By around 8,000 BCE, other animals such as sheep, goats, and cattle were domesticated in the Fertile Crescent. These animals provided a reliable source of meat, milk, and hides. Sheep and goats were particularly important because they were easier to manage than larger animals like cattle. Cattle, domesticated around 7,000 BCE, were not only a source of meat and milk but also played a significant role in agricultural labor. They were used to pull plows and carts, making it easier to cultivate larger fields and transport goods. This development significantly increased agricultural efficiency and productivity. In other parts of the world, different animals were domesticated. In South America, llamas and alpacas were used for their wool and as pack animals. In Asia, water buffalo and later horses were domesticated and became essential for farming and transportation. Establishment of permanent settlements. The shift from a nomadic lifestyle to permanent settlements was a direct consequence of the development of agriculture and the domestication of animals. With the ability to produce surplus food, humans no longer needed to constantly move in search of resources. This stability allowed for the establishment of permanent homes and communities. Early settlements. The earliest known permanent settlements date back to around 9500 BCE. One of the most famous is Jericho, located in modern-day Israel. Jericho is one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world and provides valuable insights into early Neolithic life. The settlement was surrounded by a massive stone wall, suggesting a need for protection and a degree of social organization. Another significant early settlement is Çatalhöyük in modern-day Turkey, which dates back to around 7500 BCE. Çatalhöyük is notable for its complex social structure and advanced architecture. The inhabitants lived in closely packed mud brick houses with no streets, indicating a high level of communal living. The discovery of religious artifacts and elaborate burials suggests the development of spiritual and cultural practices. Social and economic changes. The establishment of permanent settlements brought about significant social and economic changes. As communities grew, so did the need for organization and governance. Surplus food production allowed some individuals to specialize in activities other than farming, leading to the development of various professions such as pottery, weaving, and toolmaking. Trade also became more important. Surplus goods could be exchanged with neighboring communities, leading to the exchange of ideas, technologies, and cultural practices. This interaction between different groups contributed to the spread of agricultural techniques and innovations. The shift to settled life also had profound impacts on social structures. Permanent settlements led to the accumulation of wealth and resources, which in turn led to social stratification. Some individuals or families accumulated more resources than others, leading to the development of distinct social classes and the rise of elites who controlled surplus production and trade. Environmental impact. The Neolithic Revolution had a significant impact on the environment. The large-scale cultivation of land and the domestication of animals led to deforestation and soil depletion. As forests were cleared for farming, biodiversity decreased, and the land became less fertile over time. The domestication of animals also had environmental consequences. Overgrazing by domesticated animals such as sheep and goats led to soil erosion and desertification in some areas. These environmental changes would have long-term effects on the sustainability of agricultural practices and the health of ecosystems. Cultural and technological advances. The stability provided by permanent settlements and surplus food production allowed for significant cultural and technological advances during the Neolithic period. Art, architecture, and religious practices flourished as people had more time and resources to devote to these pursuits. Art and craftsmanship. The Neolithic period saw the development of new forms of art and craftsmanship. Pottery became increasingly sophisticated, with intricate designs and improved techniques for firing clay. The production of textiles also advanced, with the development of looms and more complex weaving patterns. Sculpture and painting became more common, with artistic representations often depicting religious or ceremonial themes. The famous Venus figurines, such as the Venus of Willendorf, are examples of Neolithic art that likely had religious or cultural significance. Architecture. Neolithic architecture reflected the shift to settled life. Early buildings were often constructed from mud, brick, or stone and included communal structures such as granaries and temples. These buildings were not only functional but also served as symbols of community identity and religious practice. One of the most remarkable examples of Neolithic architecture is Stonehenge in England, constructed around 3000 BCE. This prehistoric monument, consisting of massive stone circles, demonstrates the advanced engineering skills and complex social organization of Neolithic societies. The purpose of Stonehenge is still debated, but it likely had astronomical, ceremonial, and social functions. Religion and society. The Neolithic Revolution also brought about changes in religious practices and societal organization. The development of agriculture and permanent settlements likely influenced religious beliefs, with a greater emphasis on fertility and the cycles of nature. Temples and other religious structures became central features of Neolithic communities, serving as places of worship and community gathering. Social organization became more complex as communities grew in size and diversity. The need for cooperation in farming and building projects led to the development of leadership roles and governance structures. These early forms of social organization laid the groundwork for the more complex societies that would emerge in the Bronze Age and beyond. The Neolithic Revolution was a turning point in human history, marking the transition from nomadic hunter-gatherer societies to settled agricultural communities. The development of agriculture and the domestication of animals provided a reliable food supply, allowing for the establishment of permanent settlements. These changes had profound impacts on social structures, economies, and the environment. The innovations and advancements of the Neolithic period set the stage for the development of more complex societies and civilizations. The ability to produce surplus food led to population growth, specialization of labor, and the accumulation of wealth and resources. The cultural and technological advances of this period, from art and architecture to religious practices and social organization, laid the foundations for the development of human civilization. The legacy of the Neolithic Revolution is still evident today. The domestication of plants and animals continues to be a fundamental aspect of human life, and the innovations and social structures developed during this period have shaped the course of history. Understanding the Neolithic Revolution provides valuable insights into the origins of agriculture, the development of human societies, and the relationship between humans and the environment.